listening to the East Texas Banner right here at easttexasbanner.com. Got the privilege today of sitting down with Brenda Joe. She is running for, I guess it's the hospital board.
At-large position.
At-large
for the
position.
Jasper Hospital District
Okay.
Board.
All right. So I don't think you need a super huge introduction, but tell us why you're running.
Okay. So partially, I've never been interested in per se the hospital district before or in the previous years, because it seemed like it was kind of rocking along pretty good. Christus had the clinic, and I always maintained a doctor there. For the last 5 or 6 years, it's felt like it was always changing. It was ever changing. We had a different doctor every 2 or 3 years. And as I age, I realized the importance of, number one, quality health care, but number two, consistent health care. I'm not looking to change doctors, every 2 years or every 3 years. I want a doctor who understands me, who knows me, who I can count on being here. I like a doctor that can refer me on to someone else. And so I like somebody who's familiar with the area. Back when the original clinic was built,
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I were part of raising those funds with T.L. Temple and the HOA. Just saw that need here in the community that was if we're going to be a retirement community, we need good health care. And so they raised the funds to build that building. At some point, then donated it to the hospital district for them to man and always sub out the providers that would be there.
Okay.
And that had worked for many years. We had one great doctor, Dr. Straley, was there for years and years, real involved in the community. And it just was such a good connection because he was known in the community. People were confident in him. He was a great doctor. And we've had a couple since then that are in a similar situation, maybe not a part of our community, but part of the Jasper community especially. So while the district is the whole district, it's not all of Jasper County, but it's a good bit of Jasper County, but it does cover Jasper proper as well. This clinic is partially my main motivation for that, to make sure that it stays in their hands, in the hospital district's hands, that they make the decisions about how it's run. They make the decisions about the doctors that are there. If at some point the hospital district were to decide to sub it out, I just would want that to be a very thought out conversation. Yeah. Not just a sudden, somebody came to us and said, we're thinking about this. So my community is just very important to me. I've served in a couple of positions as far as school board and the Umphrey board. Just so I have some business knowledge, which is how I see this.
Right.
This position. I'm running a business. I'm helping to manage tax dollars and to manage what we do for the health of our community. Right. How we can assist in those. Understanding that we are way behind the pine curtain, and we're not going to have every opportunity that a big city has, or doctors are just flocking to come here. Sure. Even if they could get a Great Lake house, trust me. They want to come and relax. They don't want to come and work.
That's right.
So it's difficult to find anybody to come into Jasper to say, hey, I want to live and work here. Once they get here, they can fall in love with the place. But it's a little hard to get people to say, yeah, I want to come to rural Texas. And
it's not an easy sell.
No. The same was true in school district. And so, we had to make adjustments there. You just have to offer some things. The 4-day work week was an awesome advantage for teachers when they offered that. Teachers love that, and they'll seek those districts that do that. Right. And so I would say the same thing. It falls in these categories in medicine. You're just going to have to accommodate the people that you get. Yeah. Love having Dr. Pham back in town. Yeah. I think that was a great, he and Terry both are a great package. Chris is a great addition to that. I look for them to grow that over the years. Can we bring back OB? I don't know. Yeah. It's a hard decision. It's very expensive for doctors to want to do that. You almost have to have two because one has to cover all the time. So it's not as easy as you get one doctor, hire one doctor, and start having babies there again. It's not quite that easy. So I understand Christus's decision. I just wish we'd have had a little more involvement on that,
Sure.
and would certainly like involvement in the future, helping decide what is acceptable for our services and what are not acceptable.
Right, right. Yeah, it almost seems like it almost seems like with the rural communities, you really have to find, like you're saying, custom fit the situation for the service providers or the doctor specifically, to try to make this thing good for everybody because, I mean, like you said, I mean, with it being a retirement area, I mean, it's only going to be smart to have some level of service here and provide that to the people. So, I think, obviously here over the last few weeks, the hospital board has definitely come to, people's vision a little bit more, and so, and here over the next few terms, there's, from my understanding, the contracts with Christus are going to be, coming to an end or renewing and that type of thing. So it's imperative to have some people who have some vested interest in the area.
Yes.
To be able to be on that board,
That's
so.
a very big discussion. One of the nice, I mean, we have some wonderful doctors in Jasper
Sure.
that have made their home here. But that's one of the things that I think the hospital district has done well for us is to ensure that. Now we have some home people. Dr. Pham has been here for years and years, and people, he's made a home in Jasper.
Right.
Terry Cheeley has made a home out here at Rayburn. That means she's probably going to stay for a little while. That means he's probably going to stay for a while. They're not renting houses; they're
Sure.
buying houses.
Right.
So they're not leaving. When that contract is up.
Right.
They're kind of invested in our community, which tells me they're going to stay a little bit longer, which means we can invest in them a little bit more
Yeah.
than we might some. Understanding that sometimes we may have to take somebody who wants to come in for a year. We may have to take a specialist. We may have to take somebody that is going to be short term.
Right.
But for our primary caregivers, we need some stability.
Yeah. There's, I don't know. I think that you don't ever want to change your doctor or your hairstylist.
Correct.
I mean, my mother used to panic every time a hairstylist would quit. But it's the same way with the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still mad that Jimmy Debney air conditioning left. I'm like, he was my guy for 20 years and no wait, now I have to change. I've got a great guy now, but oh my gosh, I don't want to have to change. I don't want to have to
Right.
learn something new, somebody's new way,
Sure.
somebody's new way of giving me information,
Right.
somebody I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
I'm old enough to not love change.
Yeah, I understand that completely. Well, I think when is the election?
The election is May the 2nd.
May the 2nd.
We don't have dates about the early voting, but I
Okay.
would imagine mid to end of April.
Right.
We should have early voting places out here at Rayburn because when the MUD district has an election, generally we can tag in to their
To their election
their
process.
election processes,
Okay.
and I know they added the hospital district a couple of years ago.
And you said the election is May
the 2nd.
May the 2nd. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell the people and just kind of communicate about you running?
So one thing that has just kind of always offended me, kind of in any kind of office, is that somebody wants to know up front, how do you feel about X?
Right.
Or how do you feel about X? What do you think about, at school board? What do you think about this superintendent or that superintendent?
Right.
Really, the truth of the matter is, do you trust me to
Yeah.
make a good decision? Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some major catastrophe may happen.
Sure.
Things may go easy. No telling what could happen. Do you trust me to make a decision that I don't even know or you don't even know is in the books yet?
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would say. Look at your candidate. If they're running on an issue, be careful because you don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
Know that there are going to be issues all along the way.
Yeah.
Do you want them to be able to handle those well?
I think a lot of people get high centered on one or two issues.
Yes.
And they believe that it's a success if their candidate gets in and deals with those one or two issues and then everything else falls apart. There's some level of success checks the box for folks.
Yes.
And it's kind of a weird way to look at it. It's almost
Yes.
like, does the individual have integrity? Will the individual step up to the plate when it's time to step up to the plate?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a person of character? And can we trust the move forward? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think having a vested interest, living in the area, and you know, especially with the focus on Rayburn,
Mm-hmm.
with the clinic here, I mean, it's super imperative to have some sort of voice.
Yeah, I agree. That being said, one of the things that I found out when I was on school board, both of my kids were high achievers, gifted and talented, in that realm.
Sure.
Not big athletes.
Okay.
So when I got on school board, I was like, okay, you know what? I'd heard all these, like, why are there 15 coaches down there and my kid doesn't have a science book, da, da, da.
Sure.
So you get to, okay, I'm going to go in kind of with an attitude about that and I'm going to find out about that. And you realize the demographics of the whole of the school system requires that we treat every kid. We want every kid to stay. We want every kid to be successful.
Right.
Some levels here, some succeed in different ways.
Right.
And so I learned the importance of, okay, everything has a place.
Yeah.
Everything has a place. And it may not be high on my kid's place, but there were several votes that I had to take that were not necessarily in favor of my children,
Right.
but they were in favor of this district as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's once you have that information, it's much easier to make that vote to say, my kids will be fine.
Yeah.
But this needs to happen for the district.
Sure. And I think when we do get high centered on one or two issues, it's almost like we are losing the perspective of the whole.
Yes.
I think we've all become, in a lot of ways, I think our independence has kind of grown into selfish agenda a lot of times. And and I understand that. I mean, in business, you got to be a little bit selfish or crazy, to be in business. But it's almost morphed into this thing to where we get so hijacked, or not hijacked, but high centered on these one or 2 points that we forget about the whole. And I think it's unfortunate, especially in today's political climate, for sure. But so, thank you for having us sit down with me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming by and talking to me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate giving me the opportunity to speak to the public.
Absolutely. So May 2nd is election day for the at-large. Well, it's for the complete hospital district, right?
Yes.
Do you know how many positions?
There are 4 seats open.
Okay.
Right now. 2 incumbents are running.
Okay.
And if I remember right, maybe there's 5 other candidates.
Okay.
For those 4 seats.
So if you're out there and you're a candidate, hey, reach out to me at the East Texas Banner, and we'll get you on here and let you say your piece, and we'll go from there. Ms. Jobe, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.